Hey guys, this is Mauisnake going over NAF, the American player for Renegades, an Australian team. So NAF is 20 years old and was previously on the Optic lineup that I'm sure many of you remember. For the Optic lineup, he posted definitely kind of a middle of the pack rating. I think he had like around 1.05 and to a 1.1 for his time on Optic. However, with Renegades this year, he's been on the team for about 3 months now and has posted up a 1.17 rating. That's absolutely bonkers. That's just such an improvement and shows that given a new team and a fresh start, that player that was kind of middle of the road on one team can definitely step up and be quite a force on another. So some of his other teammates who you may know of, Nifty, very flashy Opera IGL for the Renegade squad, and JKS, Ustillo, and Azur are the remaining players for the team. And they all kind of post pretty average ratings for pros, 1.01 to 1.04 for all of them. And just looking at NAF's numbers, he's about plus 600 for the year, 1.16 KD, that's pretty good, and a 42% headshot percentage. That's not really spectacular by any means. Looking at some of the other numbers, nothing really too crazy that stands out about this. 84 ADR, just pretty standard stuff. So without further ado, let's get into the demo review. So today's demo is against G2, and this was played at IEM Oakland, and kind of a surprising group stage performance for Renegades here. So, and kind of a surprising, I guess it would be a surprising performance for G2 as well. I think a lot of people figured that they would do pretty well going into this tournament. But G2 has had quite a few ups and downs, so let's get started. Starting off with the Glock grinder. Got those, I don't know how you guys feel about gloves with spikes on them. I kind of find them to be kind of tacky, but to each their own. And also, if you just unbox a pair of gloves, you're probably just going to wear them no matter what they are, so that's that too. And on the pistol round, he's going to be moving up with Azur and Nifty towards long A, the A halls area. And in doing so, they're just going to clear it out, get some map control without giving up too much information. The thing that they can assume about G2 is that a lot of teams do not really like to push on the pistol rounds or really any rounds of Cobble. And NAF's just going to be a supporting player for this round as he throws a smoke and a flashbang. Smoke was for door, and the flash was just to help his team enter. It didn't blind any of his teammates, but it does blind the opposing team very well. And that was some pretty good flashes by NAF, I'd say. The first flash is pretty general, but the second flash was actually definitely one that they've gone over, that he banks off of the APC. It gets anyone that's kind of behind sight there, or behind APC, or even underneath heaven, I'd say. And it allowed, I think, Azur to move up, only get slightly blinded, and finish out that kill on Apex. I think Apex was still somehow able to get a kill there, but now he's just playing around the wooden wall, and in playing around stables, he's actually just able to get a kill and secure the round. And notice what he's doing there. He's just like shooting the wall. He's not actually taking any peeks. It's a 3v1 situation. What you don't want to do is give the final member of G2 any free 1v1s there. And by shooting the wall there, you're not only distracting them, potentially you're not really thinking you're going to shoot him per se. It's pretty unlikely that you're going to get that headshot or random headshot through it that would finish out the round. But you're just allowing your team to just have some time to work with, as the C2 would probably get distracted, and anytime that he's distracted is more time off the bomb, and more time that if he's distracted and a teammate peeks him, they can find the kill. I mean, he's just making space for his team is really all that is. Even though it doesn't really seem like he's making space, he's drawing attention. All right, so going to be a passive default here. He's boosted behind this kind of box here, and looks like it's going to catch Kenny off guard, but after taking the initial shot, notice he doesn't just wait there and let Kenny line up another headshot or anything with a repeat. He does fall off his position pretty quickly and is not going to over-engage for that position. And some nifty kind of just working. That was pretty interesting. How he was able to run on Ustillo's head, but I don't think that was really planned or anything. But Alright, just going to be a passive default, and now they're going to be working towards this A bomb site. Given that Naf has the only AK for his team, you'd think that he'd be one of the last in, if not the last in. And a little surprising that he's working up this portion of the map by himself. A lot of close angles for him to clear, and definitely don't want to give an AK to any teammates that would be in there. And Nifty just walks right into his crosshair, but Naf's able to find the kills. Gets a nice 3K on the round, actually make it a 4K given that he kills Nifty as well. But, yep, that's pretty clean round coming out from Naf. Not too much to say there. Just passive default, moving along with his teammate Nifty there. Nifty did actually come to help him there, but originally Naf was alone to clear some of the closer angles. Nifty running up danger there. Alright, so we're going to see Naf now. Again, probably going to be a passive default. Don't really expect anything too crazy. And they're just going to work their way out. And however, the G2 team is going to be on a really fast flank, and I don't think that's really the position you'd want to put yourself in for a fast flank, but I don't think Naf was aware of just how many that were actually flanking him in that position. Probably just felt like it was a couple, and he's able to take out 2 with a spray down, but unable to find a 3rd. And oddly buys an SG. I don't think Naf usually would pick this gun up, but I don't... You know, I guess we have to watch. I haven't really seen him pick this up for any reason before. It might have been a misbuy of sorts, but looks like he's going to actually be using it here as they try to entry onto this bomb site. I don't think it's necessarily a bad pickup. However, kind of just a waste of money, I'd say, most of the time. And he just kind of moves out with his team on the B flat area. That was supposed to be a fast kind of B exec. They actually were able to close the round out, but notice he doesn't really rebuy the SG, despite definitely having money to on his team, so I think that was definitely a misbuy there. And again, they're going to start with their passive default. Nothing too crazy, nothing too innovative with this. And just going to be waiting for G2 to walk into his crosshair, perhaps. Let's just look, this round's really taking its time with things, but let's just look at the positions of everyone on his team. We got Ustilo playing the draw position, as you're playing this close quarter angle. JKS is moving back now, but now Nifty is the solely responsible player for watching this position. And it's a little weird that he's going to be leaving himself alone with the op, but it's not that crazy either. It's not too unusual. Just someone to linger around there and kind of watch the angles. And it's kind of awkward to watch that with an SMG. It's a little too far. But back to Naf now. Going to be seeing a pretty light B exec. It seems to just get them out onto the bomb site. Actually going to be seeing a lot of nades come out here. And yeah, they're going to be trying to make their way out. And it's actually a wall of smokes for this anti-eco, which is, to me, not always the best play you want to go with. Gives the CTs a lot of just kind of ways to game you a little bit. All those smokes there, you kind of have to have someone dedicated to posting up on them. However, you still have to clear all the tight little angles that pistols can slot themselves into that can take your players out. So making it kind of hard on themselves there. Might have done better with just having a couple smokes, not a 4-smoke exec on that anti-eco, but Naf is taken out by a guy just hiding in the smoke. Nothing too serious there. Just not able to clear that out as the smoke was there, and I think he also got flashed on his way out. So now Naf is going to be the sole B default player, and in doing so, just kind of is using his utility. Not using all of it, notice that. I think the last demo review I did might have shown a player who kind of overexpended utility during fakes. So, or at least one of them I did. I think that might have been Boombla. Or Boom. I forgot how to say his name now. You guys typed it to me. But, yeah. So, still has utility to go for an A exec here. Did start towards that B position, but notice his players actually got into drop as this happened, and now Naf is going to be challenging Kenny, which is never an easy task to try to get to this A bomb site. And actually going to be using a molly to flush out body there, and that helps Azure find a kill, and that's not going to show up on the scoreboard whatsoever. That he's able to force him out of that position, which allowed his teammates to get onto the bomb site. So great, just kind of great awareness of the possible positions that the G2 members are going to be playing themselves in. And the smoke towards long A may have indicated to Naf that someone were playing close on it. It wouldn't make sense for Kenny to just post up on his op there. And now Naf playing in what seems to be his favorite post-plant position for the A bomb site, the stables area, the wooden area, the wood position, and is able to find a nice 2K there. But that was great utility usage to help his team get into the bomb site, and just his solid post-plant. Nothing, just kind of showing that his position of choice in that situation is that wooden spot. Did that on the pistol, then he does it there as well. So Naf is definitely shaping up to be a support player. I think that goes without saying. He's playing very passively in defaults. He hasn't run out first anywhere that I've seen so far, and kind of seems to be the second, maybe even second or later in, and he's not really the main guy. In the main section of an attack, he seems to be in the secondary portion of it. So notice on some rounds, he'll go through long A when the majority of people will either come up slope or they'll go through drop, which I would consider the main portion of an attack, or a split onto the bomb site. So that kind of the second man in a secondary split position. Going to be clearing plat with his teammates, and yeah, they're just going to be using their utility to make sure that they have this plat control. It's mauling the corner there, the cubby, using all that utility, knowing that G2 isn't, if they aren't on the best buy. They're on a pretty decent buy, but you really want to get them out of these corners that can prove rather tricky. And Naf there somehow got 2 kills. I don't think he even realized that, but he's going to pick up the op and just probably play a pretty standard 1v3 post plant. Shouldn't get too aggressive or anything. He has the op, so he can definitely hold an angle if he decides to, but probably just going to save that for Nifty into the next round. Other than that, just pretty standard procedure coming out from Renegades here. G2 is somehow kind of screwing themselves a little bit with the buys. It seems to be kind of a French tendency for this team, where they do like to overbuy in a lot of rounds, and then they don't have enough for their actual gun rounds. A few, like an auto shotgun, an FAMAS came out this round, and not really sure if that's the wisest decision for this G2 team. Now they're just kind of hurting for rounds, so they might feel like they need to be buying a lot more, and yeah, they're going to go for another kind of weird half buy. And this kind of, Naf is playing well here, but this kind of shows a little bit about G2 as well, that when they are down 7-0, they, instead of just playing it out, saving one round, buying the next round, saving one round, buying the next round, they really just want to get one round on the board at least, and are going to go into that with pretty questionable buys. And I like this call from Nifty a lot. Looks like the entire G2 team is going to be walking up slope quite quickly here. And it's just going to be a pretty solid hit, as looks like G2 weren't quite aware of this, as they had no one playing on it, but they had it the position completely surrounded, and looks like they really caught Renegades finally with their hand in the cookie jar there. Not getting any map control or any kind of really good positioning, but just gonna, they were just trying to do something a little cheeky there. But Naf is still maintaining his composure in this round, as he's able to find 2 kills towards long A. Nifty was able to get one as well from that position, and now it's up to him and Azure. And I'm interested to see how he plays this 2v2. He should be well aware that the CTs have control of the bomb, and he's staying patient mostly for Azure, and in doing so, he's rewarded with shots walking right into his crosshair. So good game sense there as well to snuff out NBK, who revealed his position a little prematurely, despite not having any kind of actual sight on the other player. He was disturbed by Naf's just single shot towards him, and that actually scared him enough to help secure the round there. They knew exactly where he is. Naf was able to get, I'd say, 3 shots into him, kind of 1 through the wood, 2 just normal shots, and bring him down to 30 health, and really helped Azure close that round out. But yeah, Naf just staying really composed in these rounds, and a lot of players in these late situations, they're going to just want to desperately trade, try to get themselves back in it. But Naf doesn't really overextend himself. He doesn't overcommit. He did really commit to that second kill towards Long A, his second kill of the round. However, he didn't really go... I mean, he just didn't go crazy. He's really just staying calm. He doesn't need to overexert himself, and this is probably going to be the first round for G2 here, as although Naf, again, playing within himself, kind of came out a little slowly to help his team. It seems like Renegades actually are having a hard time even posting up on their own smokes. They did another one of their B hits again here, but the G2 members just ran through the sidewalk smoke. They had other smokes for site, but just a couple members of G2 going through sidewalk there really took them all out. But this sets up Renegades for a nice reset here. If they're able to reset G2's economy, it's almost stronger than even just winning that round. Because if you win this one now, you're set to win pretty much the next 2 rounds. So now, instead of Naf getting boosted, he's going to boost Nifty up on this position. Kind of just staying within his support kind of role here. And we're just going to be staring at a box for a while. Let's look at what Nifty's actually seeing here, just while we're here. Just going to be posting up on this, hoping that a G2 member gets a little antsy, tries to peek over the box or peek over the smoke by jumping on top of the box, and he's going to fall off now. So back to Naf. Naf just going to be holding this positioning. I think Renegades and Nifty have realized that going quickly against G2 is not the way to take them down. Using utility to take map control, slowly take away space from the G2 members is more likely to put them on edge and force them to make a mistake. So Naf oddly deciding to pull this flash out there instead of having his gun out after the molly. Found that to be a little questionable. And notice what Naf did though throughout this round. What his nade set kind of implies for another team is that if it's one guy throwing all of this utility, let's just watch the rest of this first. Just gonna move down stairs, gets a couple nice frags to help get some entries into the bomb site. Never overexerting himself or wide peeking too much. After Naf gets a nice new positioning, he tends to hold it for a couple seconds, then he moves on to his next nice positioning. He doesn't seem to just wide peek out all too much. He kind of likes to play his comfortable angles, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's no real reason to move 1 second faster from here to here and expose yourself in such a bad way. But Naf's utility usage there was actually pretty genius, despite looking very standard. He throws the smoke towards Plat, then he mollies the little cubby there, and then he just throws a flash over. If you're a CT player and you see that one player from the T side is just kind of using their utility like that without really any teammates or any kind of push, you're going to kind of think it's a fake, and you're kind of actually going to relax. You might even call looks like a fake, and that's exactly what Naf did. He didn't throw his nades exactly when the strat was happening. He threw his nade set before the rest of the nade set came out for Renegades. That's just going to kind of trick the CTs a little bit, and it's also sometimes going to bait out some utility from them, which is now going to not be useful when the Ts actually hit the bomb site. So that kind of just spacing in utility timing really helped them actually win that round, even though it might have just looked very kind of casual, and it's like, well, he's throwing the nades before anything's even happening kind of stuff. But no, it's actually really good spacing there. So I'm not sure if that's like completely on Naf or that's Nifty. So regardless, I think Naf's a pretty intelligent guy. He's actually always been one of the smarter players, I felt like. So at least for Optic, he was one of the smarter ones. But now 1v3, he kind of had the luxury of just watching the flank before when it was a 4v2. If his teammates were able to the 3 of them were able to just run into the bomb site, there would have been no question about it. They would have just won the round, and then Naf can just watch the flank. But given that it's a 1v3 now, they don't want to give Shocks any chances to win this round. They want to all push together, they want to group up, make sure every kill is traded out. And if it were just Nifty and Azure, that's an op and an AK pushing up. You definitely want to trade up and push together with at least 2 rifles. You don't want to have op AK pushing up because that's a little awkward for the op, first of all. The op might have to run forward with a CZ first and then give the op to Shocks. And you never really want to give Shocks an op in a clutch. You can be absolutely disgusting with it. So just a clean round again for Renegades, and Naf just playing well with it himself. That's kind of been the theme of Naf, I'd say, so far, is that he consistently plays within himself. And that's something that helps you really differentiate between kind of tier 3 pros and I'd say even tier 1 pros. And I consider Naf a pretty high tier pro. He plays within himself, is able to find his own comfort within a strategy. And now another standard default round towards long A, or long B. And he's going to just, you know, drop his normal smoke, or some of his normal utility, get some spam into this round, and we'll see what they do with this kind of control. The G2, that is. It looks like Body and Shocks have a nice little crossfire set up here, and this can be worrisome for Renegades as they try to get into this round. Got the call to move back to A, and it looks like it's going to be just another A split where they were trying to go down drop along with going through slope here. It's a little faster than the last time they did this. The last time they did this, they went through long and through drop. So just changing up the call a little bit here. And Naf now is in a really tough predicament, 1v4 situation. NBK had a really stellar round there. Shut him down. But, yeah, just still staying at the back, hanging back in a lot of these rounds. Oddly has quite a few kills for being in the back. Usually, kind of rounds are determined by the time Naf should be getting into things, whether they trade things out or not. But it looks like Renegades just trust him in these late round situations. So that's why they would put him in the back there. At lower levels, sometimes the guy in the back is just simply the guy that actually bothered to learn all the smokes and flashes. But at the higher levels, it's actually usually determined based off of just ability in the late round situations. Like, you're never going to leave Fur in the back with Cold in the front just because Fur knows a nade, obviously. At the pro level, everyone should know all the nades. Everyone knows the flashes. Everyone can throw good nades, so there's no reason to play like that. Naf just keeping a little presence towards B here. Looks like Renegades want to move a little slower than usual up to this A bomb site. So just kind of leaving this presence here gives them options later into the round. Only there's still a minute left in the round, and it's kind of enough time if Nifty decides to reroute the Renegade squad to come back to B. And it actually seems like it's going to be some kind of fake here, as Nifty and Naf are going to just show a little bit of late round B presence. And that jump right there is just going to... That's definitely going to just hold the G2 members. They might hear a step like that and think that, oh, that actually might imply that someone misstepped. And it actually is going to work, as the members of G2, as you can see on the map, have rotated over to the B bomb site. And now they're going to be... Renegades should be able to get out onto A quite cleanly, and they were actually able to. So now... Naf in the slope position for a post plant. I wouldn't say this is his favorite position, but notice the angles he's playing here. This is a really strong angle. It's really hard for CTs to actually clear that entirely. And although he missed the shot there, notice that if you're a CT that's running out here, you're going to kind of clear the slope area, but you don't actually have the angle on this corner until you're wide, until around here. So Naf gambled with the angle, hoped that he could get someone running out. He actually just kind of missed the first shot on whoever it was that killed him, and that kind of sealed the fate of his team in that round. But had he hit that shot, who knows what would have happened. And just notice that he's not playing a really standard angle. He's not going to post up on the slope, because what happens when you post up on the slope is that if multiple people jump out of several positions at the same time, it's very hard to fall back from that. I mean, you're basically, you can get triple peaked here, essentially, if they time things perfectly. Another angle you could play here, he would have had to expose himself for a long time to get to this position, and that's not usually a viable option, given that he doesn't really know exactly where the rotating G2 members are. So Naf's going to move through this smoke, very Stewie-esque, it seems. And where is he actually right now? Oh, he actually got... Oh, so tries making a really cheeky play there by crouching through that smoke, but gets taken out by shocks, and just trying to look for something just trying to create in this round. So that's the first time we see Naf really try to be really aggressive or just kind of trying to make any kind of crazy play, and he does so on an eco round. So respect the man for his effort. However, the execution just didn't look quite the right way. And had he have ever pushed before that, he might have known how the CT would have actually pushed. But Apex was just a fur-like play there. That was really gutsy, and probably sealed the round for G2 already. Getting into a 3v4 with that much information is just something you totally wouldn't expect. And given that it was a 10-4 scoreline, that's not something where you need to make the craziest of plays, but respect the play, without a doubt. It seems like Apex actually was just able to understand the Renegades default a bit, and MBK playing really the perfect angle for that kind of hit, just kind of a dry peek towards drop, trying to get some map control for Renegades, and Nav just trying to follow it up. Notice he's always like the last alive, or kind of the farthest guy back in pretty much every play. I think that kind of goes without saying at this point. Alright, let's get this going. Okay, let's give some summary during the match pause. So Naf is very passive, for one. That goes without saying. I mean, if you watch it, you'd notice that. He's very passive in the defaults. He still plays within himself during execs. He doesn't overextend himself. He doesn't try to always create something. He trusts the strategies. He trusts his teammates to just go in to get the kills, for the strat to basically work. And that's kind of been working for Renegades. They came in #1 at the Asia Minor. They've been doing pretty well on the international stage. I'm not saying they're going to do great ever. I don't think they really make it out of group stages usually at bigger tournaments, but it's gotten them to where they are, and they all trust that system, and they trust he trusts his teammates enough that he doesn't have to just be a complete monster in a lot of rounds, and he just plays within himself, plays cautiously, passively, and plays the angles he likes to play. I think the biggest micro kind of play that he makes that I think you guys can learn from is that when going through an entry process, he expects to get re-peaked. He expects CTs to try to peek into him at certain points during his route. And during his route, he just likes to post up sometimes behind generally decent cover. So if there's a box along the way as he's running into a bomb site, he's going to kind of post up behind that box for just a split second, kind of wait to see if the CT gets antsy at all and tries to peek him, because he's ready to take them out. And that usually will work in your favor if you're really just calm and collected about it and you're ready for those fights. But it can work against you if the other team is really antsy on retakes. Kind of like lower level teams can sometimes just end up running through your exec smoke. Instead of trying to do a full retake procedure, where that can work against you is when CTs are really trying to just barrel into the bomb site and try to retake as fast as they possibly can with no regard for their own lives. And that does happen a lot at lower levels, where people will just push things when they really kind of shouldn't. But at the higher levels, they know that they can kind of take their own time into these rounds. It's not like he's delaying anything in a negative fashion for his team, but he's just using all of his allotted time very well, and he thinks about that stuff. So, all right, back to the demo, and starting his CT side. Looks like he was going to start towards Coop there that round. However, with one of his teammates, Ustillo, posting up towards plat, knows that that's not really the most necessary position, and is going to just start cheating towards A, and it looks like it's going to pay off in that he's actually able to get here in time to find a kill, actually able to find 2. Some really great shots coming out from him. And not going to overcommit to that duel. Don't want to give a man disadvantage, terrorist side, too many 1v1s to try to get back into this. And he's just going to work up with his teammate to try to secure this. And actually notice how he actually turns his head away from the bomb there. Not like the craziest play, per se, but that's just really knowing the game very well. A lot of people standing on this side of the bomb, I don't think they would dare to turn away from it because they might think they might stop their own defuse. But Nath is very well aware of the radius that he can take in that defuse, and knows that. I mean, if he is sitting in a smoke against a Glock, or maybe a USP at that point, I don't know, whoever's last on G2, it's very unlikely that he's going to get headshotted in the back of the head. That's just the way the hitboxes in this game work. It's just they tilt their heads down in such an awkward fashion that it becomes kind of awkward to hit that. So Naf probably was going to win that round even if his teammate died. Just saying. Really used his utility perfectly there. So going to be playing Coop on an anti-eco. Actually a pretty good anti-eco position. You don't usually see terrorists have a lot of utility on these rounds. They might actually be thinking that the T's have no guns at all. It kind of seems like it would normally be a Glock buy, but G2 being G2 are always going to force into these kind of rounds. Or low numbers. They just want to see if they can buy and get back into this game as soon as they can. When G2 is at a disadvantage, they make a lot of mistakes. And yeah, this position just allows him to have a lot of freedom in that he can peek, unpeek, and just keep fighting, and only gets tagged down to 41 despite it being against a pretty much fully bought G2 there. Fully bought in the sense that they used all their money, not that they actually had guns, of course. But yeah, pretty standard. I mean, pretty good anti-eco setup, I'd say, for Renegades there. Alright, against a nearly full Glock buy. And Naf getting a little antsy. He's going to take the fight a little too early there. And peeking into the opposing team. I mean, it's kind of a confidence play, and I don't think that's necessarily bad to do, especially on rounds where you know that they should be on a full save. But G2 never really just full save. I don't think you will almost never see G2 with just 5 Glocks ever, other than on the pistol, of course. And Naf, now showing his hybrid prowess, is going to be opping plat, trying to take control of this. And this is always just a really strong play for the CTs. It's one of the few areas of the map you can fight for map control on. And in doing so, he's going to run into a double peek setup from G2. If he got some kind of rock flash there, he could have definitely succeeded in getting probably 1 kill and then falling off. But just dry peeking into 2 members of G2 spells his own doom. But Naf is a hybrid. He was a hybrid for Optic, and he's staying a hybrid for Renegades. Don't usually see him pick up the op too much on T side. I would say that's Nifty's role most of the time, but he's definitely capable of picking it up on CT sides, as he will in a lot of positions. Depends on his spot, of course, but quite a few maps you'll see him actually pick up the op. Optic would pick up the op on almost everyone, actually. I think Rush was the only player that really didn't pick up the op ever. But Naf was very capable with it. I would say Naf was probably the third or secondary, depending on whether Tarek picked it up. Mixwell was clearly the primary, but yeah, it was kind of between Naf and Tarek for the second and third. Stanislaw would occasionally pick it up, but only for kind of cheeky CT plays where he would push up and try to just get some positioning that the T's don't expect, and then he would just take one shot, fall off, and sometimes even trade the gun away. He did that on Nuke a lot towards B ramp. So Naf just playing his standard. It seems like he really likes that Coop position a lot for CT side, and it's a really strong spot if you're not actually getting mollied out of your spot, it's probably one of the toughest positions for Tees to really breach. There's the fear of getting spammed, but let's see how this retake goes. So a clean 3-man towards slope kind of play here, and actually allows Naf to get enough positioning here that he can push up from long. It looks like he might have taken a little too much time here, but actually as soon as I say that, he finds both kills just in time, and it should be an easy and clean defuse. And that'll put Renegades on game point, as they have 15 rounds. And that was a really good kind of more macro decision coming out from Naf there, that as soon as all of them come out towards slope, they're not just going to keep fighting from slope. That gives G2 too many options. And you notice there, as he's coming up from long, one of the members of G2 was actually trying to make their way back towards long. They know that all the members, he thought that all the members of Renegades went towards slope, and by getting this kind of position towards long, he can now have a crossfire with his teammate who would have been on site. So that's Naf thinking one step ahead of G2 there. And we're going to see a flat out, just like, kind of a B rush. It looks like Shox is the only one that's going to be going out there. Maybe too much utility for the rest of G2 to want to follow him up there, but they're all kind of clogged up towards that B main area. Now we're going to actually finally see Naf try to hold his position from not the best of spots, per se, but that little nice pop flash from Apex actually really did Naf in there. And that was a pretty heads-up play from Apex. Apex sometimes kind of runs out like a madman, and right there it totally worked. That little pop flash on the ground that he threw kind of landed right here, pretty much in the smoke still, as Naf was trying to turn over there. But still have another gun round in the Renegades economy, and looks like G2 kind of knows what they like already, and they're going to be going towards for a fast B. I'm just getting caught with his nade out. Pretty unfortunate stuff for Naf there, but that can kind of just happen when you play B. That's what makes rushes so powerful on Cobble. There's a lot of space for Tees to fill in when they want to get out like that, and there's just a lot of space for them, and there's not a really great way for utility to cover all the angles that the Tees can really run out of. So that did him in there. Buys a P250 in the eco round, just doesn't really get anything out of it. I think that might have been some kind of I don't know why unless he knew into this round that he was going to buy an ump with full utility. I'm not really too big of a fan of him buying that. It put him down to $1,600 in the previous round, but I think he actually probably thought ahead of time. Okay, so going to be seeing a retake come out of Naf here, as he still has this not the best gun for a retake by any means, but he's going to get taken down by Shox right there. And that's going to do him in and get another round on the board for G2. And we're going to be seeing some kind of, just kind of a pistol armor buy for the remaining Renegades players here, as they're going to be still able to buy into the upcoming round. Of course, they're going to have a 5-round loss bonus. 2K is definitely enough to buy basically anything you want on the upcoming gun round. Nifty, saving at 2,500, is going to be able to afford the op into the upcoming round. And now Naf going to be playing seems to be his favorite position, the chicken coop area. I don't really like the middle of the chicken coop because it's too easy to get spammed by just a random shot if NAT is so interested in just firing a bullet towards that position. But it's just going to be playing slowly and patiently here. Pretty nice 5.7 skin, by the way, the Hyper Beast. And this is after the 5.7 nerf, by the way. So Naf still prefers the 5.7 for his playstyle over the CZ. The CZ is a little more run and gun, I'd say now. Still very versatile gun, but the 5.7 excels in positions like the one he's in now, where he can kind of just take a couple shots from his spot and take a couple shots from his position and just kind of stay static. And that's actually going to do it. So that's Naf for you guys. So let's go over his CT side a little bit here. Okay, CT side for Naf. Likes for this map, he liked the chicken coop position. Wasn't too interested. I mean, he kind of got aggressive a couple of times on particular rounds, but for the most part, was a pretty passive CT player, and just kind of didn't play too much with his teammates. Even I'd say the most CT coordination we saw was during retakes, but yeah, for CT side, there might have been some crossfires that were set up there that weren't really. There weren't actually really any good crossfires, in all honesty. Usually it felt like he was either alone on the bomb site or it was just kind of an aggressive play in the very beginning of the round. But that's going to do it for NAF. And there's a helicopter outside, so I kind of want to just end this. But I don't know if you guys can hear that or what. But that's what it's like living in Hawaii. A lot of helicopters here for whatever reason. Actually, it's because of the military presence. But okay, so that's going to do it for my NAF review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like it, do everything that normal YouTube viewers do. So I really appreciate all the support I've been getting lately. And if you're here from the Counterpoints episode I was on, hope you enjoyed that too. And leave me nice comments so I feel better about doing these. Thanks, guys. Bye.